Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Beastmen led by Mr. Razak facing off against Rusto and his Slaaneshi forces here on the Brave Valley. Home field advantage for the Beastmen, it would seem. And let's go ahead and break down the build. So for the Beastmen, it's going to be Khorngors in the front. Now, Khorngors are okay against Slaanesh, especially if they go with that very, very heavy-duty mobility playstyle like Fiends and Hellstriders, but they do get wrecked really badly in combat by the Slangors as well as Forsaken. So careful positioning is going to be super necessary here. Regular Gors to fight as well, a couple Unga Bunga Raiders to provide a little bit of anti-horseman play. And now the main core of the Beastmen is going to be Korok's Man-Rippers, an elite halberd unit designed to protect the Big Papa. So it's going to be the Eye of Moresleep here, which unironically I think is actually not bad against Slaanesh. Anytime you can get a snare ability and put some pressure on them from a distance without being too worried, not bad at all. So we got the Big Dog, we got some Spawn, we have a Brave Shaman of Death with Spirit Leech and Purple Sun, and a Gorebull to fight big targets as well. Honestly, a pretty cool build, and on this map, yeah, I guess you could like park right here. Granted, line of sight, maybe this side would have been better for the Beastmen because it's open field and the boulder would be a little bit more effective at covering two objectives, but at the end of the day, not that big of an issue. So, Mass Marauder Horsemen, of course, Slaanesh likes to triple cap you and be very annoying with its mobility, so there are going to be 4 of those. We have a Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh, who is going to be using Phantasmagoria, which is very good against Beastmen, Mass AoE Leadership Bomb, and snares them in place. And then we have the Rod of Torment. So just Phantasmagoria. We got Steercar, who of course really nasty with his Sign of Depravity. It did get nerfed, but still is very good if it pops off, lowering the enemy speed and melee defense. And I think his Lord is going to be the Mask, so Jim Carrey is here. We know Jim Carrey has healing, has a Mortis Engine, is fast, and is a very, very good fighter. But Spirit Leech is really good against Jim Carrey. Basically, over the course of the entire game, you just want to drop Spirit Leeches over and over on the Mask to mitigate that threat as the game does go on. On the backside, Hellstrider is going to be called out. Beastmen don't really have super cost-effective answers for Hellstrider. Centaurs can kind of go fisticuffs with them, depends on who gets the charge. But at the end of the day, I think it favors Slaanesh a little bit in that way. Alright, so Slaanesh has 2 objectives. Beastmen are going to be hunkering down here, but they're eventually going to have to move out. So what I would wager they're going to do is maybe leave a Gore Herd and a Halberd over here and then move the rest of their army over here. Unfortunately for Mr. Razak, Rusto does have the advantage of the trees, which potentially are going to be blocking some of those boulder shots right there. So that is a little bit precarious. All right, so let's do some fast forwarding while the 2 players posture and get ready to fight here. Boulder shots are being thrown and actually making some contact as the Marauder Horsemen over here do get hit. Now, I think it would be a big mistake for Slaanesh to hit right now. The way the Beastmen army is designed, it's very much designed for like, come at me, bro. I'm going to throw boulders at you, snare you in place, and just kind of poke you with my halberds. So Slaanesh, excuse me, should basically just keep them surrounded, keep them pinned in here, and yeah, just win on 2 objectives really, and force them to come forward, to force the cows to move. High ground, we got Chaos Spawn coming in. Now Spawn have one really nice thing against Slaanesh in that they are unbreakable. So when Slaanesh comes in with those big surrounding alpha strikes, those big envelopments, these guys are going to be holding, I don't know if I would say well, but they will not die, and they will stand. Well, they'll die, but they'll hold and they won't run. You guys get the idea. Jeez Louise. All right. A lot of halberd fire into the Khorngors. Another boulder shot going down does manage to hit those guys. Beastmen could do a split push, like summon a couple of cheap Gors and have them go here, but I usually think that's a mistake against Slaanesh because they're so much faster than you. I mean, Beastmen are one of the fastest factions in the game, but Slaanesh is just a whole nother level of speed. Boulder shot into the Hellstriders. Spawn waiting in the woods, and if they do attack the Spawn, I mean, that would be a big win for the Beastmen because then they could probably call out some supporting units here. So yeah, some Warhounds, some Unga Bunga Spears, and suddenly a lot of the Hellstriders are going to be paying the iron price here. Although good micro, he does pull back the one that was being targeted, and the Hounds do saturate in. Spawn doing some okay damage fighting the Hellstriders in the tree line, and they hit very hard and do also have poison as well. So the Spawn should be able to punish them a little bit as the Slaaneshi Hellstriders are forced back. And who ends up winning that fight? Oh man, if those Hounds run off the battlefield, definitely a loss for the Beastmen. Yeah, it's 400 gold in the trash basically, but if they get the Hellstrider here, it ends up being worth it. All right, so we do see some Witchcraft going down. Warp Gaze being used on the Mask as Gorebull is going to be fighting Steercar. He is afflicted by Phantasmagoria and the Soporific Musk, but he is an anti-large fighter and is a little bit tankier than Steercar. So we'll see if Al Gorebull, the inventor of the internet, is going to be able to get the job done here. All right, so he is being attacked by Steercar, as well as the Mask now. Gorebull is probably going to want to retreat. He's going to need a little bit of milk. Staff of Masks activated right there. And now the fighting is going to be beginning in earnest. So it looks like Slaanesh might have been baited in. Man, what a purple sun! Oh, man, that was nice. The Princes of Perfection get obliterated. 2 Forsaken units get hammered. That purple sun was very, very god tier. That was incredibly good. But, you know, sometimes Slaanesh just can't resist. They get the boner, they charge in there, you know, it is what it is. But really, I think this is a big mistake engaging into the Beastmen here. You always want to wait for them to pull back. But we'll see if it ends up mattering. Slaanesh is insanely good at doing this as well and can absolutely punish you in this way. So right now, we do see the Mortis Engine activated. I'm not sure what effect is on call right now. We'll have to see. Marauder Horsemen piling into combat here, a little bit risky. They do get a little bit of a break on those Khorngors, but definitely want to keep those guys back. Meanwhile, in the far reaches of the battlefield, the Hellstriders do overextend and are going to be getting attacked by the Chaos Warhounds here. So big mistake here by Rusto, sending those guys into the backfield as the fight does rage on. Phantasmagoria, of course, nice negative 16 leadership penalty, but if you're not finishing the job, it's just kind of a waste of one's magic. And he does have the leadership debuff from the mask as well, so it's going to be negative 22 leadership, which is quite good. Unga Bunga Raider shooting in, and we do see some Heralds of Excess, the Seeker Chariot Arwars in the back. Value trading favors the Beastmen a little bit, obviously. They had the home field advantage, and they got some really, really good magic. And now Jim Carrey a little bit trapped up here, battling the Koroks Manrippers, which are a decent unit, but not going to be super good at killing infantry. But against Dirkar, they should do very, very nicely. Slaanesh going to be calling in 2 Slangors elsewhere on the battlefield. Nobody's contesting the outside objectives. The Beastmen player playing correctly in the sense that they're not going to be trying to contest the entire field as the Heralds of Excess get in. Maybe going to be trying to shut down the Archers. As far as the Khorngors go and the Halberds, you just want to get Slangors on top of them. That is 100% how you want to deal with this. This could become sketchy for the Beastmen, though, if they do get triple capped, and we do see Rusto maybe going for it. Yeah, pulling on all the horsemen, has 10 capture weight coming in here as well. So suddenly, even though Slaanesh had a very rough start, we start to see them doing Slaanesh things and creeping their way back into the game here. All right, so the Mask is going to be dueling with the Bray Shaman. Bray Shaman is going to be heavily outmatched here. The Mask is a really, really good fighter, but also very squishy in the sense that a spawn of Slaanesh, or just a Beastman spawn hitting on it, is going to do some good damage. So Bray Shaman fleeing this scene, and that objective does get taken by Slaanesh. Now, are the Beastmen going to panic and maybe start playing the other objectives, or just keep fighting on the focal point of combat and get enough value that they can push? Classic Seeker Chariots just being haggard, getting killed by the Halberds and by some of the Hound units right there. Gorbul still going strong, man, fighting with about 20% HP. Fighting in the pits, doing the best he can. Chaos Spawn, in theory, should be very good against Slangors. So they hit very, very hard against light armor, and Slangors only have 30 armor. So a very nice trade there. But Slaanesh does have the triple cap. More Slangors going to be getting called down. So he's basically just kind of resorting to a bit of a stuffing strategy, which isn't a bad idea at all. Beastmen are really good at reclaiming the field, though. If you try and push back Beastmen and, you know, let's say they're finally able to break out of their metaphorical cow pens, they're really good at getting the objectives quickly by calling out Centaurs and Hounds and things like that. They can play the field pretty hard. But still, Slaanesh is holding on. This objective is in flux. It does look like Slaanesh is going to be getting there with some of its units to grab it. The Mask being very annoying, I would imagine. Value on the Mask of Slaanesh. 1800 so far. And is the Dance of Dreaming activated? Yes, it is. So the Mortis Engine should be draining all these guys down. As the Slangors do arrive, engaging against Khorngors, going to be very favored. But here comes the Big Daddy Chaos Spawn. All right, there they go. So the spawn are in, and they're going to be ripping and tearing, just playing the Doom soundtrack in their little Beastmen headphones, I would imagine. And yeah, Slangor's getting it, and that objective is going to be going back to the Beastmen, as we do see Slaanesh kind of petering out a little bit. But another way that Slaanesh does well in games is even if you push Slaanesh back, when you have to start spreading out your army to reclaim the field, they can sometimes punish you in that transitional period there. Hellstrider's going for Gorbul. Gorbul's looking very low. Phantasmagoria activated. More Hellstriders on their way in. Look at that. There's like a big demon mysticism going on here. Mask of Slaanesh getting very beat up here. Probably should run. At this point, you need to kind of just start gremlining on the objectives. And using the Mask, this is a really forbidden tactic. Basically, you run and you use the one that lowers enemy speed by 15%. And you just kite them as they try and run to the other objectives and slow them down from reclaiming the field. So probably would be the best play. But Mr. Razak doing a great job with the Spirit Leeches, and that's probably honestly what has been killing the Mask. And this is what I'm talking about. Now that Beastmen know they're winning the battle, like if you try and do this kind of a shenanigan early on when the battle's still contested, Slaanesh is just going to call in a Hellstrider and push you back. But when they're desperately fighting and they're behind, that is the time you want to strike for the other other assets in the battlefield there. So Mask going for the kill right now. Horsemen going to be piling in. Hellstriders here do get broken up as the Eye of Morsleeve going to be stomping over with his big old cow hooves. That's 8 capture weight right there. More like, not quite 8, more like 6 considering how damaged that Hound is, but still going to be very nice. Now the Beastmen have a double cap, so yeah, Slaanesh does win on just one at this point, but I don't see too many avenues in which Slaanesh is going to be able to get the dub here, and the Mask of Slaanesh here are going to be getting crumbled and going down. That's got to be GG here I would imagine to tap out within the next like 20 or 30 seconds, give or take. So we do see that get hammered there. Outside objective gets taken. Beastmen going to be rotating over. If Slaanesh does find a way to get back into this, I'll absolutely go back into normal commentary mode. And they do get this outside objective. Clever girl. I don't hate that. Hellstrider's doing it. Beastmen are thinking about moving over here while Slaanesh does have its clutches on that point. On the outside, it looks like some Slangor is going to be on their way in, but he has enough of a lead that he can just like partition his forces in a way that his opponent has to, figure out a new plan basically. So these guys retreating back. Beastmen going to be going for the third point. And could we actually see a Slaaneshi defense man? I mean, I wouldn't put it past Slaanesh, man. Very annoying to deal with. Over here on this side, I think you leave all this stuff. Yeah, they're so beat up. Just leave them here and guarantee yourself that objective. I have more sleep, does still have some boulder shots, and it looks like here the Koroks Man Ripper is going to be fighting while a big old Purple Sun goes down. Man, Purple Suns this game have been so freaking good, by the way. So freaking good. And yeah, Koroks Man Rippers, even though they're a halberd unit, still have really good stats, like kind of like generalist great weapon stats, and they have 95 armor too. So Korngor is called in out of Vanguard. Chaos Warhounds. Oh, and the dreaded Jabber Wookiee is here. Let's go. Jabber Scythe. Yes, give it to us, precious. So the Jabber Scythe has arrived, and it is going to be karate chopping here. That is for sure. So back on objective number 2, guys. We do see the Great Bray Shaman chilling out here, while the Eye of Morslave going to be throwing some fat boulders from downtown. That objective is for sure going to flip and probably stay in the clutches of the Beastmen. You know, kudos to the Slaanesh player for not giving up. But yeah, I think the game was over earlier when we looked. But yeah, it's a good thing we didn't just end it, right? Because we got to see the Jabber Wookiee flying around looking very, very glorious here. All right, so Slangors will probably lose to the Eye of Morslave and just the numbers of units. We do have some spawn in the middle here. Hellstrider's looking for opportunities, but the window of opportunity for Slaanesh to just win on one objective is rapidly eviscerating as another big Purple Sun does go down in the middle. And the Great Bray Shaman and his Gore people fighting it out. And yeah, now the Beastmen just went on 2 objectives, and it's pretty easy for them to win from here on out. Jabber Wookiee a little bit tar-pitted by the Hellstrider, certainly not what it wants to be dealing with. Spawn going to counter those Forsaken well, and the Eye of Morslave is still very much present and is going to be able to put up a good fight. But yeah, that has got to be, now I think it's officially safe to say that this one is in the books, as the Slaaneshi forces are being ground down in the middle. Victory tickets coming in the favor of the Beastmen here. The mask is called back in. It's not OP enough to solo the entire army, that's for sure, but going for the kill there at the end. Yeah, fun game. A very cool build. Now, I think that a lot of Slaanesh players do play like that. They're very confident that they can overwhelm you and then triple cap you and stuff you back, but that ended up working in the favor of Mr. Rizak, because I think that game would have been exponentially harder for the Beastmen if Slaanesh had just sat back and waited on 2 objectives and surrounded him, and then when he moves out, then you envelop. You don't envelop when they're entrenched. I think that's what cost Russo the game, honestly, but 3,200 on Purple Suns, man, awesome. Koroks Chad Ripper's got 1,500, Cygor got about 1,500 as well. Some of the spawn units didn't do badly. And looking at the army here, Mask always a menace, but Sirkar got his butt kicked pretty badly there. And yeah, the Purple Suns put in some heavy, heavy lifting, my friends. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. See you on the other side. Thanks to Mr. Vizak and Russo for the great replay. And that's going to be it for today.